Hey, we welcome you back to another edition of Holistics Highlights. Scott Kaplan here with Grande Alejandro and the brains of our operation. She runs all the marketing at Torrey Holistics. Ruthie Edelson is here. John Browner, the fourth member of this team, is in parts unknown, missing in action. He'll just show up because he's on his own time.
Yep.
Ruthie,
right now.
how we doing, Ruth?
Yeah, we're good. And
and look,
like that.
And look who just
like
shows
that.
up.
Always talking shit like I can't hear you, fool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, of all people.
Me?
Yeah, you.
And me? Are you talking about me too?
Talking about everybody, talk about me. How about that?
But we were caring about you. We were making sure you're okay.
Yeah, everybody's worried about you, man.
We got a call.
Right.
We got a call
False.
time, and
False.
this is Brown time extended right here.
Ruthie,
False.
my grandmother, I would go have dinner with her once a week. This is after my grandfather dies. I go see my grandmother once a week, and I'm supposed to be there at 6 p.m. right? And I'm stuck in traffic, and it's 6:01. The phone rings. Hello, where are you? I'm like, Grandma, I'm stuck in traffic. You should have called if you were going to be late. It's 6:01. So Brown, we're just giving you a hard time, dog. You know what I'm saying?
This 6:01. It's the equivalent of 6:01 right now.
Yeah. Ruthie, the dog days of summer. We're recording this podcast. This is Friday, September 2nd, 2022. I'm mentioning the date because people will watch and listen for years to come, or at least that's my assumption. And we're just right in the middle of all the heat of the summertime. You live out in the east part of San Diego County. How's it going out there?
It's brutal. I think last night, pretty late, it was still 85 degrees. So it was pretty harsh. It's hot in the hundreds. And then it's funny because when I come to my parents living downtown, it's 20 degrees cooler. When I go drop off the kids at school, it's 5 degrees hotter than my house. So It is just brutal.
Yeah. I know. I live, more North Coastal. I know Browner likes to call me Coastal Elite as a result.
There we go. That's it.
But dude, I have no air conditioning in this house, and it's freaking blazing. 4:00 in the morning. I'm sound asleep in my bed, butt naked, by the way. Okay, face down.
God.
Okay,
didn't need to know that.
These details are important. Girlfriend's laying next to me, and 16-year-old daughter comes walking in. 4 a.m. Dad, is there a fan anywhere in this house? Because I'm sweating bullets, and I wake up out of this is 4 a.m. Insta dad, right? Yes, there's a fan downstairs in the room where your brother stayed before he left for college. Go get that fan. And so I was like, damn, it's that hot here. No AC.
I can't get rid of that visual.
No, thanks,
I know.
No,
I can't get rid of that visual.
We didn't need that. No one needed that.
There wasn't another progression to I jumped out of bed butt naked to help, go find the fan. That would have then made the story, that part of the story necessary. But when you're I was face down butt naked, and then there was no next progression to that part of the story.
To start the story, I was face down and butt naked. No.
Yeah. Right. The whole thing's bad. So let's do this because this could take off in a completely different direction. As it turns out, today's show, I don't really know where today's going to go because today, Dave Dellal is going to be here, and he, Ruthie, is your colleague at Torrey Holistics, California Holistics, the whole crew of Holistics.
Stores.
Yeah. What inspired you to invite Dave today? I'm curious about where you want to go with this conversation.
Yeah, so Dave, he helps us on a day-to-day basis. He's been here for quite a while, about the same time that I've been here. So we've been working together for a long time, and he's just got so much great information when it comes to taxes and the laws, compliancy, things like that. So he's super interesting to talk to, and full of all kinds of great knowledge.
Browner, this is going to be perfect for you. I mean, you love the numbers. You're gonna call Dave a nerd? You're gonna start doing that nerd thing you do. Oh, I'm a nerd. I talk numbers. Are you gonna do that today with the CFO of Torrey Holistics?
It depends on how deep he get in the weeds, baby. Look, he can get the nerd alert too.
You want those gift cards keep rolling in? Maybe not, man.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the business side of the numbers, per se, how they work, compliance, and things of that nature. But again, if he gets too deep into the numbers, I got to tell him, I'm high listening to this. Imagine me high listening to this.
Well,
let's slow these numbers down.
I'm going to say this.
Ruthie, is this the guy to ask about the future of Oxnard Holistics?
Yes.
Does he have all the answers? Because I'm ready.
Ask him. Let's see what he says.
My crew is ready. I'm ready.
Awesome.
We're ready.
Ruthie just set you up. Ask him. I want to know what the deal is too.
Yeah.
Oh, that was number one on my list. I was like, I don't even care if he's the guy to ask. I'm still gonna ask about Oxnard Holistics.
I still would love to turn that whole deal into a movie one day. The whole licensing process. Wow.
Really?
That was pretty incredible. It just shows I'll have to do that on a different podcast, but it was very layered and very interesting and showed a lot about politics and people and NIMBY and beach community. I mean, it was very layered.
Wow. All right. Well, yes, let's save that.
Can we volunteer Alex for the ribbon cutting?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. You will have to come up for the ribbon.
Because I was there for California.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So now it's his turn. It's his hometown. At least he can do is cut a ribbon.
Right.
I've always wanted to hold a giant pair of scissors.
Yeah.
You might have to fight the owners for it, but you can be next to them. Or
I just want to hold it, and I don't need to cut the ribbon.
He just needs to be in the photo op.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll squeeze you right between Kalina and I.
Right. Works for me.
Maybe Kalina's going to make an appearance on today's show.
Maybe.
She'll just walk in the background.
We'll see if we're lucky enough.
Yeah. All right. So as we talk about where's this going to go with Dave Dellal, the CFO of Torrey Holistics and other holistics, I see he's checking in here. Are we ready to go with Dave, Alex?
We're ready.
Hey, Dave, good afternoon. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Happy Friday, everyone.
All right. Why do I have a feeling you guys are like right around the corner from one another in the office?
Because we are.
Are you really?
It
literally looks like Dave is behind that wall. Like if you go into that door, like Dave is in that door.
He is.
There she is. There she is.
I just wanted to see what Dave looked like because Dave was like worried about his backdrop, and I think it looks nice.
Dude, he looks
got a
money.
great backdrop.
My
What's going on behind you?
My head gets too shiny. That's my only problem. I have to learn how to de-shine myself.
Hey, dude, it's a lighting thing. It's not your head, just so you know. You got a beautiful head.
Next time we'll give you a ring light.
Right.
Or I need a makeup department.
Yeah.
That's Kalina. Kalina can do that.
Oh my God, Kalina, can you go in there and powder Dave's forehead, please?
The question will be, will the makeup be from downstairs?
You know what actually works for shininess, in case you guys need, is take a toilet paper liner, a toilet bowl liner, and blot with that. That works.
A toilet bowl liner? You mean like something in a public restroom? Like one of those things?
That paper.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on
Not
that.
used.
Yeah, me too.
Not used.
I'm passing
Not
on
used.
Yeah.
Not used, Ruthie. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that advice. So, Dave, we're excited to have you on the show, and the reason being, at least from my perspective, anyway, I'm curious what everybody else thinks, is we have no idea where this is going to go. Like we're so interested in the business. We always talk to founders of different brands, you know, how they got into it, you know, how they grow it, whatever. We don't ever really get to talk about the business of the business. So kind of excited to get going here. But I think, Alex, you want to lead off?
Yeah. Listen, the business, the number one thing on the list of business for me is Oxnard Holistics. Where are we with that? I don't know if you know this, Dave. I'm from Oxnard, born and raised for the first 19 years of my life until I moved to San Diego. So it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to my friends. And once you open it, you're going to have a long line of people that know Padilla.
Yeah.
Ready to go in.
In fact, our first promo code should be Padilla.
What if we made your mom the manager there?
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Should we, side note, guess who's finally using?
Tell me.
Yes, Mama Padilla.
Guess who's finally, Dave, I don't know if you know this about my mom, has been interested in products to help with her pain, migraines, all this stuff. She recently tore her meniscus. She avoided surgery, so they've just been doing physical therapy, and it's been going fine, but she's had some setbacks as of late with swelling and pain. So finally, if you remember, Ruthie, we interviewed the High Gorgeous owner, I believe, and I knew that the box would sell her because the box just looks like an Avon lady coming to the house, and like this, it looked like, you know, it just had this vibe, the luxurious vibe. So I went. She was here last Saturday for Mars bridal shower, and I got to Torrey Holistics. I think I was the first customer. I got there like at 8 a.m, and I bought a bunch of stuff, and I gave her options. She took all of it, She took all of it home, and she's been messaging me. I now use it. The knee swelling has gone down. The pain is like minimal, and she's all about it. So I got to go back, but it would be a lot easier if Oxnard was open for my mom.
Yeah.
Dave.
So yeah, I can give you guys the update on that. So, as you probably remember, it's been, quite a long journey through the process with Oxnard. They had an application process that everybody did, and they determined that they, did something incorrect with their process. So they completely redid it again. So we finally got approved. It was, a pretty difficult process. We had a lot of opposition from the neighborhood, but we got it through, and we are currently working with the Development Services Department there with our construction drawings, which should be approved here in another week or so. And then we can start building it out. And once we start that, it'll probably take us about 3 months to build out. And then we should be getting going. So I'm saying, within probably
holiday season.
So
could we be looking like at a holiday season or okay.
Wait, what are we saying here? We're saying before the end of the year or not before the end of 2022?
It's going to probably be, either right in December or maybe in the new year.
I hear a New Year's Day opening.
So New Year's Day opening is very likely.
Oh, wow.
Can I ask you guys, maybe both of you guys have an answer to this? Why Oxnard Holistics? Like, why Oxnard of all the places, like, to open a dispensary?
Well, one of the reasons is, our founder, Tony Hall, he grew up in that area as well.
Wow.
And, so he was really excited when that application process opened up, and, was really excited to kind of, do something in his, original community. So, that was, one of the reasons. And number two is, we really like the location that we were able to find there, which is down by the beach. So, a lot of the other stores that were approved are kind of, more east, away from the beach. So, we really have a great location there to serve the beach community. So we're excited about that. So, we think it's a great area. It's a great town. And we're excited to serve it with cannabis.
Isn't it amazing how it's still a pain in the ass to build a shop, but by the way, it's not just a cannabis shop. There was a story a couple months ago. I'm trying to remember what city it was in LA. I think it was Downey. They didn't want a restaurant where the girls, it was kind of like a Hooters.
A restaurant.
Is that what they call it, Browner? A restaurant?
I know. They call them restaurant, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like a Hooters kind of a thing where the girls are wearing short skirts and whatever. And literally people were protesting. We don't want this brand of restaurant, this chain in our town. We're so wholesome and good. And, we still go to church on Sundays, whatever. Like, hey, we don't want that in our town. It's kind of what it sounds like, what you were dealing with, guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely, the not in my backyard mentality still exists quite a bit. And, there's still a lot of stigma, surrounding cannabis stores. And especially if you, really haven't experienced it in your community or near your community. So, everybody thinks there's going to be increased crime, that, kids are going to get in there and use it. There's going to be, gunfights in front of the stores, and, so there's a lot of, misconceptions, and, really the opposite has been happening. The stores are really, improving community. They're contributing to the community, really doing a lot of, charitable, type of work. There's increased security, there's cameras, there's security guards, there's, lighting, the stores, a lot of the stores that are picked are in, areas that have been, suffering a little bit, or, are dilapidated, and the cannabis companies come in and they really improve the stores and the surrounding, areas around the stores. So, it's unfortunate that stigma is still there. But it's, it's going away, slowly but surely. And it's interesting too. So the Department of Cannabis Control, which is our regulatory body, they just received a grant of, I think it was around $20 million to work with municipalities to, get them to produce an application process and to have cannabis stores. Because right now, 61% of California, counties and municipalities still do not allow cannabis. It was as high as 80% a couple of years ago. So it's improved, but, really, the industry is pushing for, more of these localities to allow cannabis now.
So how hard is it too hard to get into a community? It's like you said, you guys really like the spot in Oxnard, so you went the extra mile to try to meet all the regulations so you could put something there. Have you guys found a community, or you found a part of a city or a town that it was just too hard and you just said, you know what, never mind?
Yeah, not worth it anymore.
Right, we're out.
No, we haven't really encountered that anywhere else. I mean, I think Oxnard was certainly, the most difficult one so far that we've tried to do. We've submitted applications in National City and also Encinitas. That's has an application process that was done, and those areas seem to be a lot more excited about it and more welcoming to the process. So perhaps it's changing, but I think Oxnard was certainly difficult.
I guess the next question, Scott, when you're talking about Oxnard, Encinitas, National City, you already have Chula Vista, you have Mammoth, you have Torrey. Are we trying to turn Torrey Holistics or Holistics brand into like the Cannabis 7-Eleven, where you're like, you literally go to like every city that you go to in California, there's one there? Is that the goal here?
Yeah, no, I think that we're a small company, so we don't really have
for now.
Yeah, for now, we don't currently have the resources to open up 50 stores. So we're really kind of trying to be picky about where we apply and where we go. We really we like the beach communities, and trying to keep stuff fairly close to us in Southern California, so it's manageable for us to manage all the stores from afar.
Dave, I have a question though. So like let's just say hypothetically one day you were able to you got an approval from Encinitas, National City, and another place, right? We're listening to this and it just almost sounds like, well, hey, look, once we get the license, taking care of everything else, building the store, 3 months, whatever, getting product in there. But then you say, hey, we're a small company. Is it should we just assume that if as soon as you get your license, you guys are ready to move? It's that quick and it can happen that fast?
Well, yeah. Once all the approvals are done and the store is built out, we have our state license, it is fairly, I don't want to say easy, but, everything's accessible, right? I mean, we don't really have supply chain issues, within the cannabis industry. Everything's local. So, it's fairly easy to get product on the shelf. It's fairly easy to hire good employees to run the store. So it's really that kind of pre-process of going through the application process, doing the interviews, kind of checking all the boxes, and getting through that part that's been really difficult and time consuming. Mm-hmm. But once everything is stamped off on and approved and ready to go, then it's fairly quick. Construction, obviously there's, some supply chain issues there. We, had some difficulties with, Mammoth and building out Chula Vista. We liked certain lights and, those lights wouldn't come for 4 months. So we had to, change to something else. So, you just have to adjust and adapt to, what's available readily and, what you can get in there quickly to keep your construction, time.
In the application process, is it as simple as like, here's an application, fill it out? Or is it like extensive interviews? You got to do like a presentation. You got to be like,
look at expensive with lawyers,
right?
And audit it.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah. So in, every municipality seems to do it a little bit differently, but for the most part, it's a merit-based application process. So you have to go through all of the requirements that the city wants. You have to produce, a community benefit plan. You have to do a business plan. And these are, 150, 200 page, applications. You have to, like you said, utilize, attorneys and, people to help you really, make sure that you're touching on all of the municipal code elements in your application so that you're, showing that you're compliant with everything that the city wants. And then, there is an interview process. So you have to go through an interview and, talk about all the, different things in your application. And then, depending on the, for example, with Oxnard, then there was, a planning commission hearing where, the public gives a bunch of input and, you discuss that with them and then they either approve or deny your application. In the case of Oxnard, they actually denied our application at the planning commission level. So we had to appeal to city council. And then we had to have a hearing in front of city council to go through that process as well. And, we got, great support from members of the community there that, there was a lot of opposition, but there was also a lot of support. So ultimately, city council did approve it, but, it's just a lot of time, right? I mean, you go through the planning commission, you got to wait for the city council to come back online with whenever they can do their hearing. So everything is just, it's a lot of delays. It's a lot of, stress as far as, are they going to approve us? Are they not going to approve us?
Once they do, though,
it's crazy.
Invest a lot of money along the way.
Yeah, right. Once they do, you got to open. I mean, now you got to open this thing. Ruthie, take over. Jump in here.
Time to open.
Yeah.
No, I was saying, and it went late into the night. We were like finishing up at 1 a.m.
It was like a 7-hour meeting or 8-hour meeting. Yeah.
They're
Really?
just brutal.
I just don't understand how, like, you can just from a basic presentation standpoint, obviously you got to do all the semantics, but when you just look at the numbers, and Dave, you were like quoted in this article that I read earlier on was it Channel 10, where they talked about the full, just straight up numbers of the revenue of taxes that California, San Diego, and Chula Vista specifically got in the first 3 months of 2022. Like, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars for California that they don't got to do anything for. It's just increased revenue for their budget. Like, how do you not look at those numbers and be like, what are we doing? Why would we ever deny this?
It's true. I mean, why would they make it, such a difficult process when, there's a really big reward at the end of it for them? And, I think a lot of it has to do with, like what we were talking about before, that there's just, this stigma around it. And even though it's really, pretty much like any other retail store or a liquor store, we check everybody's IDs and, make sure they're of age before they come in, make sure everybody, follows the rules. And we, follow, there's a big state regulatory body that, has very, specific and detailed rules for compliance, that the municipalities would make it a bit easier for cannabis stores to open. And, and I think that that's going to be the trend. There's, a lot of the brands, obviously, they want more stores to sell in. So they're really lobbying hard up in Sacramento to make that process easier for more stores to get open so they can sell more product.
So for all the different counties having almost different rules, it feels like, and a new hearing here and a new hearing there, and laws are always changing. Like you said, they got people in Sacramento pushing for things. How hard is your job? Because it seems like you have to constantly be monitoring every little rule change, every little sentence, because if you're not on top of it, boom, more lawyers, more money, more headaches.
John, yes. I have a better question for Dave. What's harder,
nice.
Dealing with that or dealing with Kalina and I?
Yeah. Right. Like, who's tougher, Ruthie and Kalina or the Oxnard City Council?
I don't know. That's a tough one. It's kind of a toss-up. No, Ruthie and Kalina are a pleasure to work with. They're, great people, and they're, really skilled at what they do. So I really appreciate them, and they help me tremendously. Likewise. But yeah, it's a difficult job. Everybody thinks, hey, you got a weed shop, you're going to make a ton of money. It's super easy. You just sell weed and, and everything's great. But no, it's a very difficult business to run. I mean, there's a lot of expense, a lot of compliance. It's challenging. And like you said, the rules are constantly changing, and the DCC is now coming up with another really big update to all of their rules, which I think will take effect probably in January. But they've, effectively, rewrote, a bunch of the regulations. So yeah, I've got a big reading project coming up for me.
And they don't provide cliff notes, huh?
Yeah, they don't.
He provides cliff notes to us, so we don't have to read the
right. So,
and because it's not federally, I guess, legal, what are the massive obstacles when it comes to like cash flow or money? Like how do you? What's the biggest issues with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still difficult. We were fortunate. We were able to get transparent, compliant banking in 2017 before recreational took place. So we have banking. We have armored cars that come and pick up our cash and bring it to the Federal Reserve, and we also have a PIN debit system where you can actually use your debit card right at the register, just like any other retail store. But those were difficult to get, and it took a lot of time for especially the electronic payment systems to come online. And we also have an electronic payment system for pickup and delivery, which is more of an ACH process, like a Venmo type of thing.
Oh wait. They didn't want y'all using debit cards?
Yeah, for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could only use cash.
Yeah, it was cash only, and we still can't use credit cards. So credit cards are still prohibited, and it's really more of a Visa, MasterCard, American Express decision that they don't want any cannabis running over their rails. So you can't use credit cards. There are some companies that are coming up with some creative things, like a kind of a closed loop, like a Nordstrom card that's not really that's just like a store card. So there are some companies that are trying to kind of push that through, but again, it's a little bit weird because you gotta now you gotta have a separate credit card. It's a kind of a cannabis only credit card. So in the event the federal government decides to legalize it, then I think the credit card process will open up.
This is a really interesting conversation because, like I said at the beginning, Ruthie, I had no idea where we were going with all of this.
Yeah.
But we have 4 very curious people, and we have one guy on the receiving end of all of this who's very interesting, and he's got a lot of interesting things to tell us. So, Dave, great talking to you, man. Let's do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. This was great.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even touched on, working with our vendors. So you have to remember some of the people that we work with directly have been in working with cannabis before it was even legalized.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a lot of companies that want to do it and still do it, that way, kind of an older way. And then we have other people that came in and are, business people. And so you have a mixture of people that you're working with wanting to do things in a different way. And then there's, of course, Torrey Holistics and California Holistics and Mammoth Holistics, where we've kind of got this down and are, on the up and up, and are trying to also lead the way in how business is done in this new industry. So that is also like a whole other very interesting kind of business topic, is like internally and with our vendors.
You mean like how all the different vendors you're saying come, because we've interviewed a lot of them,
yes,
come from way different backgrounds and how they handle business and what their area of expertise. I'm trying to remember the young lady we spoke to a couple of weeks ago. She was all business all the time, long before the cannabis. And then you have other people that are all about the flower and the plant and their love for it. And the gardening under the sun and all these, so that must be interesting to deal with all that sort of spectrum of people. What are you saying, Brown?
We've had people come in here that used to work for Tesla and want to do it kind of Tesla's way and what they know from that when they worked at Tesla. And so it's just been really interesting, all the different people that come in and it work.
What is Kalina saying?
He said it didn't work because you really have to almost have a combination of both, right? You have to be business savvy, but you also have to understand the plant, the love of it, hearing all the stories of how much it helps people. I mean, there's just so much that, that you have to come in to understand it and to make it work and stay in the business, or else a lot of these people come and go very quickly.
Dave, I asked everybody the same question that's come on this show. So now it's your turn to answer. This is the toughest question of the show. You may not know the answer, but I need you to answer as best as your possible.
I don't think anybody's ever not known the answer.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you got high?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think I do remember. It was in, let's see, I grew up in Paramus, New Jersey.
Hey, great mall.
Great mall.
Great mall. That's where when I was a little kid, my mother once a year, she goes, "We're going to Paramus. We're gonna go school shopping in Paramus." And it was like a whole big thing. Like we actually got in the station wagon, and we all schlepped to Paramus, New Jersey to go to this mall that when you walked in, there was like this globe, like there was this giant globe of the world, because that's what globes are. And yeah, anyway, I'm with you, Dave.
Yeah, and then I think I let's see, what else do I remember? I remember I had a moped, so that was we had a little moped gang in high school.
You was thugging out there.
Yeah, he was thugging, right?
Yeah, we used to drive around, and we kind of came across another group, and that was the first time that I tried it. We used to when you're kids, there's no place to go, so you hang out in the woods or somewhere by a playground or whatever it is. So I think I was in the woods somewhere, in the winter with my moped gang, and was the first time I tried it.
I would love to see a picture of your moped gang.
Dude, rocking some like Michael Jackson jackets back in that day.
Yeah. Hell's Angels going 11 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Seriously.
Jersey style.
Yeah. Right. Paramus style, baby. We're going to a diner. Well, Dave, great talking to you, man. We'll pick it up from here next time. Thank you so much for doing this. Ruthie, great to be with you. Thanks, cool everybody out there. Browner, Grande, thank you, fellas. And for everybody that's listening and watching, we'll see you guys at Torrey Holistics, California Holistics, Mammoth Holistics, and coming soon, Oxnard Holistics.
Oxford will be accepted as well.
That's next. That's the next city that we're going to. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.